each day in our classroom, I'm going to be courteous to you. I'm going to say, good morning, boys and girls. And I want you to say, good morning, Mrs. Turner. Do you think you can do it? Smile if you think you can do that. Good morning, boys and girls.
Good morning, Mrs. Turner.
That was wonderful. Students watching, I hope you also were courteous and you said good morning to Mrs. Turner. I'm so thankful that God has put you in our class this year. You know, when you're at home, you probably have so many rules. You might think, oh, Mrs. Turner, I have lots of jobs to do at home. Maybe at home, when you get up, you have to make your bed. You have to brush your teeth. You have to pick up your toys. You have to make sure that your room is clean. Maybe it's your job to take out the trash. Maybe you have to help mommy load the dishwasher and help make dinner. Those are big jobs that you get to do at home. But did you know in our classroom, there are some jobs that you're going to get to do? Just 2. So many jobs to do at home, but in our classroom, you only have 2 things that I need you to remember. These are easy things. The first, you may talk if you have permission and you raise your hand. Now, students watching, I know you're not in our classroom, so your on-site teacher will give you more direction as to what to do about answering your questions, but make sure you raise your hand if you would like to talk, and you can talk. And then second, this is so important, don't get out of your seat without permission. Mrs. Turner will give you permission. You'll get to line up. We'll get to come to the front. We'll get to work on our chalkboard. We're going to have lots of fun. But if you listen to those 2 things in our classroom, we're going to be able to have a great, wonderful year. And oh, I'm so excited. Now, here's some things I want you to remember. This is table number 1. What table is this? Table number 1. You did it. You, friends, here are table number 2. What table are you?
Table number 2.
You have it. Students watching, you'll also get to join table 2 this year. And you are table number 3. What table are you?
Table number 3.
That was wonderful. I love the way you're watching me. You did just exactly what I asked you to do. When I go like this in our classroom, that means I want you to stand. To my students watching, I also want you to follow that as well. Class, stand. Jalen, you were quick with that. Class, be seated. Class, stand. Class, be seated. That was quick. Thank you for doing your job. Class, stand. Class, be seated. Now, sometimes my words aren't going to talk. Sometimes my hands are just going to do the job. Let's see if you're watching. Oh, I like it. Kai, can you do it a little faster with us? I think you can. You may be seated. Oh, they didn't go up. You went ahead of me. If you are at table number 1, stand. You may be seated. Table number 2, stand. Be seated. Table 3, stand. Oh, Mason, you were quick. Thank you for doing right. You may be seated. Students watching, did you remember to stand with table number 2? If you are a girl, stand. Girls, that was great. Have a seat. If you're my boys, stand. Boys, be seated. Now, I told you that in our classroom, just 2 things I need you to remember. You can talk if you have permission and you raise your hand. You may not leave your seat unless you have permission. I've told you to go line up, or I've asked you to come to the front. Otherwise, you're going to stay in your seat. We are going to use the restroom here at school. And I know students watching, this is going to be different, so make sure you talk with your on-site teacher about the procedure she wants you to follow. But when we go to the restroom, we're going to use the restroom, and then we're going to go to the sink. When you get to the sink, I want you to follow these steps. I want you to wet your hands. What's the first thing I want you to do?
Wet your hands.
Absolutely. I want you to wet your hands. And after you wet your hands, I want you to get 1 dab of soap. You don't need to push it many times. 1 dab of soap will be enough. And then I want you to wash your hands. So you're going to wet them, get some soap, you're going to wash them, you're going to scrub, you're going to get all of those germs off. And then you need to dry your hands with a paper towel. But before you get that paper towel, I want you to do a job for me. I want you to kind of squeeze your hands gently to get all that extra water off so that we're careful not to get that water on the floor. And then you're going to get a paper towel and then you're going to line up. So to help you remember, we're going to sing a song, and it goes like this. This is the way we wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. This is the way we wash our hands, wash, wash, wash. Scrub your hands with soap and water, soap and water, soap and water. Scrub your hands with soap and water, scrub, scrub, scrub. Dry your hands off with a towel, with a towel, with a towel. Dry your hands off with a towel, dry, dry, dry. You know, you did a great job singing that with me. Put your eyes on your teacher. Let's see if you remember what to do. Students watching, you join us. Jalen, you were the first friend to stand. Let's sing it again. This is, oh, stay standing, friends. Stay standing. This is the way we wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands. This is the way we wash our hands, wash, wash, wash. Scrub your hands with soap and water, soap and water, soap and water. Scrub your hands with soap and water, scrub, scrub, scrub. Dry your hands off with a towel, with a towel, with a towel. Dry your hands off with a towel, dry, dry, dry. Please be seated. Let's see if you remember. Boys, stand. Boys, be seated. Let's see if we can do it a little bit faster this time. Are you ready? Oh, wait for my hands. Boys, stand. Boys, be seated. You know, I love the way that Carter, you sat down so nicely in our classroom. Thank you so much. You know, he's a good example for our boys to follow. Girls, stand. Good, Kylie. Good, Tessa. Thank you. Girls, you may be seated. Now remember, in our classroom, just those two very special things. We are going to make sure that we raise our hand if we would like permission to talk, and that we don't leave our seat without permission. And we are going to have a wonderful school year.